So are you saying these words? These words are ultimately our language of what is going to dictate our behavior, which is going to lead to our identity. And these words, right now, in times like these, are I can't. I just, whatever the case may be. I am, and it's usually something like struggling. If you find yourself saying any of these phrases, try and catch them. Try and catch them, and then evaluate what is coming after. Because ultimately, language is all of this chatter that is happening within the brain. And then the body is going to respond with behaviors to reciprocate, to make sure that it follows, that it stays in line with what you have said. And therefore, that is going to be the identity that you carry. So it is just, I can't work out from home. I'm just not that type of person who's able to control themselves. That will in turn become the behaviors that we demonstrate. And those behaviors then lead to owning that identity of a person who does not work out. If we don't have the gym to go to, if we don't have the structure, well then of course. So that becomes our identity of a person who just doesn't work out, a person who doesn't take care of their health, a person who does continue to struggle. And that identity circles back and just reinforces the language. So right now we have this beautiful opportunity to actually start and catch ourselves and evaluate the language that we are using. And the only way that we can do that is to first focus on the identity that we want to actually have. So I challenge you, when you're looking at the identity that you want to have, what is that for you? If I say, I am healthy, I am the type of person who works out, I am the type of person who is stress-free, in control, has routine. Whatever these things are for you, I challenge you to start here. Because this, up until now, may just be a system that has happened in place unconsciously because of the language we are using, and it's just being consistently reinforced. But if we change that right now, if I say I am the person who is healthy, I identify as a person who works out, then yes, the situation may not be ideal at home. It may not be ideal, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to find a way, because that reinforces my identity. Because if I don't, then I am directly choosing to be a person who identifies as the opposite of that. I'm choosing to be a person who identifies as unhealthy, who doesn't work out, who doesn't take care of their body. And to me, ultimately, that's a person who is choosing to not take care of their family. Because the only way you can do so is by being healthy yourself. And that's just not a choice that I'm willing to make. I'm not willing to look in my family's eyes and say, I am choosing to not take care of myself. And that may mean repercussions of you having to take care of me. No, I'm owning that. And so when I own that identity, yes, it does mean that it shapes my language a little bit differently, and I catch myself saying, I just don't want to work out. I don't feel like working out at home. But how do I want to feel tonight? And how do I want to feel tomorrow? And how do I want to feel when I look in my family's eyes, my son's eyes, and say to him, but I am a person that embodies being healthy. And so that's where then we can actually change what dictates behavior. Even more so than language is environment. So then we know our home, which hasn't been the environment that has been easy to work out in, because it's a place of rest, it's a place of relaxation. It's a place where we commune with food and family. Now we need to create a space within there. Even if it is just that you shift the coffee table in that dead center space in front of the TV that you're doing a Zoom Live with, or you're doing a follow along with, is that sacred space. We're dictating that that piece of environment is what's going to lead to this behavior. When that coffee table goes away, then that's what that means. Even in the midst of the fact that that may only be the space that is for the family. I've got a really small place, really small, and a child, and a dog, and I understand how challenging that can be. But if you can deem a specific part of that the environment, and you identify as a person who is healthy, who takes care of their health, and you're doing it because you have that deep semblance, that why because you don't want to be the one that has to be taken care of by your family members, then your actions will follow that. And your actions will then follow and correct that language so that we're not catching ourselves in that struggle bus city. So I challenge you to do this. Identify as the person that wants to be whatever it is you want to be. From there, change the environment to dictate the behavior so that it triggers that response, and then continue to catch that language so that you can actually shift it from I am a person who doesn't like working out at home to I am a person who is healthy, so therefore I will work out at home. Now is the time to build those habits. Now is the time to actually make that shift, because if you can do it now, man, imagine how wonderful it's going to be when we are able to get back out in the world. That's my challenge to you today. Start evaluating so that language doesn't dictate behavior and identity, but identity starts to form that pace.